All right, that brings us to Stephen A. Smith. All right, now I got to set this up properly and methodically. Stephen A. Smith is the highest paid sportscaster in the country. He works for ESPN, does a morning show, and he has done extraordinarily well at the Disney Corporation. He's by far and away their most popular sports guy. But you may have noticed over the last year or so that Stephen A. has gone into public policy somewhat. He appears on News Nation, he appears on Sean Hannity's program, and he talks about very important things other than sports. Okay, because of that, Stephen A. has put himself in a position to criticize both parties. And James Carville took exception to Smith's criticism of the Democrats. Roll it.
When it comes to sports, I find him to be really insightful. When it comes to politics, he don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. He's on that running his mouth about how he may have to run as a Democrat because there's nothing left of the Democratic Party. There's no talent. Stephen A., are you me?
First order of business. Sir, do you have to be so rude? You know? Dropping F-bombs and going off like that. I mean, I know that's your nature. I understand that, but let's just say two can do that, you know. I mean, if you really wanted to get raw, ain't nobody hiding from that. I could be that way. It's just that my mama taught me to respect my elders. And you are 80 years of age, if I remember correctly.
Joining us now from New Jersey is Stephen A. Smith. I think that's why you like me, because I'm so old. I think that's, now I got it. Now your mother said, hey, when these guys get old, you got to treat them pretty well. Okay,
well, you're old and wise, so it all works.
And I'm still good looking, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah. Listen, that's for somebody else to say, but you look good, Bill. You look good.
It's all that Botox. So over the past few weeks, the Washington Post, the New Yorker magazine, the New York Times Athletic, the New York Post, Fox News, News Nation have all done features on you about your political future, in their estimation. It's not like you've said anything exactly like that. Why do you think that is? Why are you getting so much attention in this area?
Because I do something that the Democratic Party doesn't do at this particular moment in time. I resonate. It's really that simple. And I'm not saying that to brag on myself. I'm saying that to highlight the desolate state of affairs that exists within the Democratic Party. They haven't been very, very impressive, collectively speaking, of course. And I think that when you see the election and what the election results revealed, Donald Trump gets 77 million votes. He wins the popular vote. He wins the Electoral College vote. He wins every swing state. He's up in like 50 counties. He gave a run for money in New York. They improved in California. And obviously they won the Senate, they won the House, and they maintained, their stake in the House. In the Senate. They won the Senate and they maintained their stake in the House as well. You take all of those things into account, and there's just no question that the Democratic Party is in dire straits right now. And so when you hear me pointing out some of the things that I pointed out, I'm not one of those guys, Bill, who believes that because you think differently than me, you're a racist. You're anti-black.
No, you don't play that. I've never heard you play that card.
I don't play that game.
Why do you think Carville gets so upset about this? What is it that you're doing that annoys him?
Well, you know this better than me because you're the veteran in politics over the last 50, 60 plus years, 50 years plus. I'm not going to go the 60 route because you're not that old. But here's the deal. In the end, when you look at a guy like James Carville, who came across as a bit truculent to say the least, I think that, first of all, he misquoted me. I did not say there was no talent in the Democratic Party. I said there was no one who was resonating. They did not have a voice. I happen to know Westmore, the governor of Maryland. He's a friend of mine. I mean, I like him a great, great deal. We've become friends. I enjoyed my interview with Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. I just finished interviewing a few minutes ago minority leader of the House, Mr. Hakeem Jeffries. So it's not like the Democratic Party is devoid of talent. That's not what I said. but they are devoid of a voice. They are devoid of somebody who resonates on a national level. And I think James Carville took exception to that primarily because he forgot that he was the one saying it too, which is why on my show, when I clapped back at him, I played some clips of him saying the same damn thing that I said, because he had been lamenting that. And I think that when
you ought to get Carville on your podcast, which is very
Oh yeah,
successful.
no, I'm going on his. I'm
Okay,
going on
good.
his.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Because
I'm going
look,
his. No problem.
there's a couple of things in play. Number one, there is no leader of the Democratic Party. And that would be my
Right.
first question, Carville. Who's the leader? Chuck Schumer? Come on.
Exactly.
There's no leader. They don't have anybody.
Totally true.
Kamala resurfaced at the NAACP, didn't really make a dent, so that it's wide open. Number two, Trump opened the gates for populist candidates. And if you ever decided to get into politics, that's what you would be, a populist candidate. You would be going right to the people and say, look, I feel for you, and I'm going to, if you elect me, I'm going to try to solve some of your problems. That's what Trump did. And it's been very successful for Trump. But right now, the Democratic Party is disarray, and Carville knows that, but it just seems to be he was insulted
And not listening to him. That's where his real frustration comes from. And and please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they shouldn't listen to him. I think they should have listened to him. But I think that, as is the case in our society today, on a plethora of platforms and in industries where you've got youngsters on the come up, and they sort of ease the elder statesmen out of the mix because they want to run things themselves. I deal with that in sports too, where you have an abundance of individuals who were qualified and they couldn't get a job because the youngsters were placed at the helm and they didn't want to bring somebody in more knowledgeable than them. Take into account, you know your sports a little bit, Bill O'Reilly. Bill Belichick couldn't get an NFL job. The man has won 8 Super Bowl championships, 2 as a defensive coordinator, 6 as a head coach. And when he got let go by the New England Patriots, he couldn't get a job. He had to go back to college at the University of North Carolina to get a head coach
job. They didn't want to give a guy like that control.
I know that. But what I'm saying is transitioning back to politics, you have people in positions of power within the Democratic establishment that clearly didn't want to listen to James Carville. So that could be a part of his frustration. But in the end, he came at the wrong person, because I wasn't knocking him. I thought they should have listened to him. But when he clapped back at me, I'm like, wait a minute, you've been talking the same stuff that I've been saying. You must have forgot about that. Let me remind you. And that's
if
about
you really
as far as I
want to cut through it all, and no Democrat has the courage to say this, Joe Biden destroyed the party. He destroyed it.
Yes, I said that.
But you're not in the political arena. There's nobody in Congress or working in the Democratic precincts, no governor, nobody. Wes Moore, your buddy, when you talk to him and you ask him, did Joe Biden destroy the Democratic Party? He'll say no, or he won't answer the question. Joe Biden destroyed it because he's the second worst president in our history. And it's not even close. I mean, you can never beat James Buchanan because he let the Civil War happen. But Biden, if you read my message of the day on BillO'Reilly.com, the guy, that's why Trump is bouncing up and down like, a 18-year-old on speed, because he's trying to reverse all of this stuff that's hurting every American. But the Democrats won't acknowledge that. And they also won't acknowledge that woke culture has destroyed the fabric of the party. That's what the main thing is all about, right?
You and I have been, you're absolutely right. You and I have been on TV together, and you know how I love to disagree with you, but when you're right, you're right. Damn it, I got to concede it. And you're right on the money with that, And so when you take into account, first of all, Joe Biden was supposed to leave. He was supposed to be a transitional president, and then was feeling himself when the midterms wasn't a red wave in 2022. So he decides to stay in office, basically betrays the party, and then they got to come up with some elaborate scheme to get him up out of there. That's what I firmly believe. And it turned out to backfire on them. And when you look at the actions of Trump right now, and people talk about him trying to undo so much that they have done, whether you like or dislike what Trump is doing, and there's plenty of people in the center and clearly on the left who do dislike what he is doing, it is no doubt he is trying to do exactly what he said he was going to do, which is also the antithesis of what Democrats,
Absolutely.
at least in memory,
He's doing
are
it,
known
but
about that.
he's going
so
further.
That's the bottom line. He is going further, going a bit too far.
Nobody expected him to prop up Putin. But as I wrote in my column, this is why he's propping up Putin. And there's a reason for it.
I
But
read
nobody
your column.
expected that.
It was a pretty damn good column, by the way,
Thank
too.
you.
So
And
not
there's
only
no
are you a great
pretty about
broadcaster,
it.
but you're a damn good writer. I got to give
Right.
credit where credit due. You did
You
good,
got to
Bill. You did
extract
good.
the word
But
pretty. It's a damn good column. And that
It's
brings
a damn
me
good
to
column.
the damn
Okay.
good show that we're going to do on March 30th in Westbury Music Fair on Long Island Sunday. I'm taking a chance putting this show together. It's my production company.
Really?
Stephen A. was nice enough to sign on. Here's why, and I'm very interested in your point of view on this.
Okay.
The United States has descended into tribalism. It's almost like sports in the sense that you root for a team. And in some places, you'll punch out somebody who roots for another team. The United States has now descended into tribalism. And a lot of people don't want to hear anything other than what they believe. That you can see it on cable television. All right.
Correct.
What we're doing, the three of us, is we're trying to meld three different audiences into one building, one show. There's no doubt the show is going to be good. No doubt. All right? But whether the people want that kind of a presentation, that's what's on the line. Go.
Well, let me tell this to America right now as they watch the show and they get set to hear about us, see us in person, March 30th in Westbury, New York. There's a saying that's out there, Bill is talking about bringing the rain. And what we mean by that is that no holds barred. You say what you feel, you mean what you say. And we don't have to worry about the other, one of us demonizing another. You disagree with some things I say, I disagree with some things you say. The same applies to Chris Cuomo. But we respect each other, we like each other, we love being on TV or in front of the camera together, and we get along just fine. And what we do in an event like this is remind Americans that it's okay to be honest and authentic and give anybody else your perspective and your point of view. The key is having an open enough mind.
That's right.
To listen to somebody who may disagree with you.
Well, I
and
hope
feel
that's the
differently.
case.
As long as you're willing to do that, you can do it. And we do it all the time.
But I don't know in this period of history if that is going to drive people into a show. Again, the show is Westbury Music Fair, Long Island, March 30th, 3 p.m. Sunday. It's going to be a blast. Stephen A. will be there, and he promises to wear his pink jacket that he had on last night when the Celtics...
I did not promise the pink jacket that day. Not that day. I'm going to see you a couple of times before that. I might rock it before
need to see that pink jacket in person.
What is your suit game going to look like? How about that? We know my suit game is going to be up to snuff.
Look at this. GQ consults with me. That's all I have to say. Stephen A. Smith, everybody. There he is. And we'll see you soon, Stephen. Thanks for coming on. Getting quality sleep is not easy, and without it, all aspects of our lives will suffer. Thankfully, there's a solution. Beam's Dream Powder. This healthy hot cocoa has already transformed sleep for many. With delicious flavors like cinnamon, cocoa, sea salt, caramel. It's only 15 calories and 0 grams of sugar per serving. Guilt-free and effective. Dream's all-natural ingredients like magnesium, melatonin, help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up refreshed. It's easy to add to your nighttime routine. Just mix it up with hot water or milk before bed. Want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder? You can get up to 40% off for a limited time at shopbeam.com/Bill and use code BILL at checkout. That's shop, BEAM.com/Bill, code BILL for up to 40% off. Enter a woman that you may remember from her acting days, Janine Turner, who has founded a group called Constituting America. Constitutingamerica.org is where they live. And this organization is devoted to instructing Americans, particularly younger, about the Constitution. Janine joins us now from North Texas. How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. You doing all right?
I am great. Yeah. Old days here. Good to see you, Bill O'Reilly.
This is a very worthy project, which is why you're sitting here talking to me. But I want to know why you did this, why you got involved with this.
Well, I founded Constituting America in 2010 because of what you're talking about. I sat there, I had a wonderful educator in fifth grade, Mr. Ingram, and he merged the musical 1776, where we all had our parts. I was Martha Jefferson, and we rehearsed it all year long, with learning about our founding documents. And it was that he really launched my career as an actress, as well as my love of our founding fathers. My father was a West Pointer, so that was in the air, as Ronald Reagan says. But in 2010, I was reading the Constitution with my daughter, and I said, I want to know more. And we need to value this document. It's just like you talk about. I mean, we create a government that rules under our consent. So it's not we, the government, it's we, the people. So we've been in existence for 15 years. We have multi-tiered programs that I've created, and Kathy Gillespie and I have brought this foundation to life. And it's everything from a speaking program to we're studying right now in our academic study. I'm the editor of our academic study, Alexis de Tocqueville's Democracy in America. I'm doing a on-camera talk show about American exceptionalism, what that means. And Bill, one of the things I think makes America exceptional are our founding documents, because the
No doubt
Declaration of
about it.
Independence,
Nobody else on earth has it. So when you talk to the urchins,
yeah.
when somebody brings you in, and urchins are like 7 to 24, when you talk to them, and if you mention de Tocqueville, I mean, they're going to be, their head's going to hit the desk. They're going to know what you're talking about. What do you lead with? How do you get them engaged?
Well, that's a really good question, because I've given over 600 speeches through our George Washington Speaking Initiative through the foundation. And what I gleaned and what I created with the foundation is I walk in and I say, whether they're fifth grade, middle school, high school, college, I want you to feel empowered by the time I cross this threshold and leave. I want you to understand that it's we the people, not we the government. And so what I ask them, because I think a lot of times, Bill, in schools, it's just worksheets. This is what the government does. This is how a bill is made. This is how they do it. And they don't understand that those bills are supposed to come from the needs of we the people. So I get them engaged. I said, think about what you would like to change in your neighborhood, or what you want to keep in your neighborhood.
Oh, that's great.
And they raise their hands and
that'll get them. Yeah. So what do you want to change about your circumstance, about you, where you live and what's going on, and then you can stair step it, because then you get them personally involved. Final question. Go ahead.
Use the tools in the toolbox, which is the First Amendment. So I'm like, first, you don't just go out in the streets and create a peaceful protest, supposedly. Let's talk about a petition. Write down what you want. Use your speech. Use the press, like golf clubs out of your toolbox or whatever it may be. You call the press. Then call your assembly, and then we talk about, everyone thinks when they vote they're voting for the president. Well, your representative is in your neighborhood, the legislative branch. And so you call your representative with your petition. And we walk through how the amendment process works like this. And as you talked about, Bill, the checks and balances.
Okay.
The checks and balances.
The group is constitutingamerica.org if you want to check out Janine's group. I got one question on your God on the Go podcast. Now, this is something you do how many times a week?
I have a bevy of them logged at God on the Go, and it was just picked up by Evergreen and Converge to promote it nationally. I was like, oh, they're interested in it, great. And it's going to be weekly on camera, but at times it's been daily. But it's God on the Go, and it's about, what I'm focusing on right now is God philosophy, because I think we hear a lot about science and a lot about psychology. It's God psychology, not philosophy. God psychology. We hear a lot about psychology on social media, but then in the dark of night, how do you apply that? And my faith is really, really monumental to me. And so I'm sharing my faith and how we can merge the two together, but also just getting through the day, prayer groups, things of that nature.
How do you handle people who are atheistic, who don't believe in God?
Well, Maybe I snag them in with a cute little tagline or something, and they decide to watch the show, and maybe God will move them, because I really think it's God, God and the Holy Spirit that goes in and says, all right, listen to what I'm saying. But also, I think that science is great, but often science isn't enough. And psychology isn't enough for the dark of night when people are suffering it. We really then have to find the strength somewhere. And when we can think about, that there's a universe out there, that God created us, that God can help us, that He's right there with us, and that we can get through these things through the power of God. Look, we're getting ready to find out that we're not the only ones in the universe either. So I can't wait for all this to be revealed. So that's the way I think it happens,
All right.
is just to
Well, you're doing a lot of good
night
work.
and-
You're doing a lot of good work, Janine. Thank you very much for that. And if you get anything that you feel is, you say we're not alone in the universe. All right, if when you get,
I don't think we're alone.
all right,
Do you?
I'm a reporter, so I examine what the data is. They're going to release this UFO thing soon, I
Yeah,
guess,
as if
along with
don't have any
Kennedy and
opinion.
King. Yeah, all of those papers. So we'll be anxious to see it.
you have opinion. Okay, well, I'm going to go on record saying that there are other stars and planets out there, and we're not alone in the universe.
All right. You heard it here. Thank you, Janae. We'll talk soon. Appreciate it. The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. And with April 15th fast approaching, their enforcement is already ramped up. So if you owe back taxes or have unfiled returns, waiting is not an option. The smart move is to get ahead of this. But never contact the IRS alone. Let the experts at Tax Network USA do it for you. They have a preferred direct line to the IRS, so they know which agents to deal with and which to avoid. Whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, Tax Network USA can help. Their attorneys and negotiators have already resolved more than $1 billion in tax debt. Talk with their strategists today, free. Protect yourself from property seizures, bank levies. Please call 800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/bill. April 15th, right around the corner. Act now. Are you feeling the impact of recent timeshare industry changes? Now more than ever, the costs of timeshare ownership far outweigh the benefits. My friends at Lone Star Transfer are the only company I trust to help you get out. Our listeners' positive feedback demonstrates why I've supported the company for years. For more than a decade, they have helped over 20,000 owners get out of the timeshare. Their exclusive options can help you get out faster and easier, more than any other option in the country. They are the only company that will give you a written guarantee and release you from your timeshare in a specific time frame. With an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau and thousands of 5-star reviews, customer service is their top priority. For free consultation and a guaranteed solution, please call 855-551-7066. That's 855-551-7066, or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. Smart Life Fast Food. So there is a website called Barbecue Lab. No idea. I have no idea. But they put out a fast food survey, okay? And they asked thousands of Americans about fast food. And here's what they come up with. 1/3 of the entire American population eats fast food on any given day. That seems high to me. People ages 20-39 eat the most. Men consume more than women. 83% of American families eat at a fast food restaurant once a week. 83%. That sounds high to me. Okay? Average American spends 10% of his or her annual income on fast food. 34% of children eat fast food every day. Again, I guess maybe they're counting pizza in there. McDonald's is the most popular chain. $130 billion grossed in the USA a year. So the health risks, average fast food meal is 836 calories, not counting the sugar drink. So you're well over 1,000. and your whole daily diet is 2,000 calories. So you're going to get fat if you eat a lot of fast food. You will. That's just a fact. And you have a 50% higher chance of dying from heart disease if you eat fast food on a regular basis. All right? Thought you'd like that in the Smart Life thing. I don't eat it anymore. I can't remember the last time I went to a fast food place. No, I can't. I was in California over Christmas vacation, In-N-Out Burger. It was so good, I can't even describe it. That was the last time. I do eat pizza once a week. I limit my pizza to once a week. All right, we have a poll on BillO'Reilly.com about the booing. Okay, so you remember Donald Trump is giving Canada a little jazz, a little poke, saying that it should be the 51st state. And in a hockey game between the USA and Canada, here's what happened. Go. All right, so we have a poll. Are you upset with Canadians for booing the U.S. national anthem? A lot of people voted. Yes, 60%, no, 40%. All right, I am not upset. If I were a Canadian, I'd probably vote boo too. If Trudeau said, hey, America is the worst country in the world, we hate you, and then they played "O Canada," I'd probably boo. So I can't be a hypocrite here. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.